So you're thinking about investing in the Kelowna real estate market? Well, you've come to the right channel. Welcome to Live Love Kelowna. Okay, so on today's video, we're going to be talking about investing in the Kelowna market in short-term rentals or STRs. We're going to cover off things like the cost of purchasing the property if you're investing from outside of British Columbia, home prices and what to expect in the Kelowna and the central Okanagan market, the cost of carrying the property. Number 4, we're going to be talking about the buildings that allow for short-term rentals here in Kelowna as well as West Kelowna. And number 5, how to set up your STR for massive positive cash flow. All right, so let's jump into point number 1, which is the cost of purchasing a property here in British Columbia. Now, if you're an investor from Saskatchewan or Alberta, you're likely not familiar with a land transfer tax. If you're purchasing an investment property or simply making a move to BC, you'll have to pay that tax out of pocket at closing, which is at the time will be 1% of the first $200,000 and then 2% on the balance between $200,000 and $2 million. Now, on top of that, because you are an investor, the BC government has seen fit to penalize you even further. If you're investing in Kelowna or in West Kelowna, you will also be subject to a speculation tax, I call it a sunshine tax, of 0.5% of the assessed value of the home. This is applied to you if you plan on having this property as an investment, having renters in there, a short-term rental, or if you're planning on purchasing the property but spending less than 6 months inside of the actual property. Now, this can be a shock to the system, so make sure that you're prepared and you have enough cash to close on top of your regular disbursements as well as your legal fees, which could run you anywhere from about $1,500 to $2,500. All right, because this is an investment property, you're going to be subject to a 20% down payment. Now, your deposit, which is different from the down payment, in BC will be held by the buyer's agent's brokerage, and you can expect to pay anywhere from about 1.5 to 3% of the purchase price, depending on the price point of the home. Last point, very, very important, this property could very well be subject to GST. Now, that GST will be applicable because it is an investment property and an STR. And the best piece of advice that I can give you is to definitely speak to an accountant to make sure that you get your financial situation set up properly prior to even making an offer. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's look at point number 2, Kelowna housing prices. So if you're not wanting to put down a large down payment, then it's obviously important to keep your purchase price quite a bit lower. That means that you're going to be looking at properties like apartment style condos. Perhaps you're going to be looking at townhouses as well as duplexes as opposed to a single family home. Okay, we're here in October. It's definitely sweater weather. It's kind of nasty outside. The benchmark price of a single family home in the Kelowna market is currently $980,000. So if you multiply that by 20%, your down payment amount is going to be $196,000. Some of the condo options that are out there right now in these buildings that allow for STRs are between the $500,000 and $600,000 price range. So your down payment amount is going to be quite a bit less, which could potentially allow you to purchase not just one property, but multiple properties. Okay, number 3, your carrying costs. Now, these are going to be similar to what you're going to be paying in your home province, things like property taxes, condo fees, utilities, those sorts of things. Keep in mind, you're also going to need a property manager. Okay, so if you're looking at a condo, for example, your condo fees are going to be anywhere from about $400 to $800 per month, depending on the building, depending on the size, and depending on the location. Your property taxes can range, but likely won't be anything less than $2,000 per year. Always factor in the high side, and if you need some help determining what your property taxes are, typically they are on realtor.ca, but you can always reach out to me and get the exact number. Now, if you're purchasing a single family property, you're going to have the full tilt of utilities that you're going to be responsible for, and in condos, typically the only utility that you'll be on the hook for will be electricity. Now, that being said, some buildings in Kelowna include all of the utilities and the condo fees, so make sure that you inquire about that up front. All right, as this is an Airbnb, a VRBO, short-term rental, you are going to need to buck up for Netflix, for cable, perhaps an alarm of some kind if you've got a single family property. All right, lastly, your property management fees for STRs will run anywhere from about 20 to 40% of your gross revenue. And I know, it sounds pricey, but think about this for a second. The property manager is turning over that property every 3.5 to 5 days, they are refreshing towels and toiletries and replacing dishes and making sure that the coffee is stocked and that the property is absolutely spotless and ready for the next guest. All right, point number 4, if you're investing in condos in the Kelowna market, then you'll need to know which buildings allow for short-term rentals. Recently in Kelowna, the City Council decided that any new building that's being built will not be allowed to offer short-term rentals. So there are a set number of buildings in Kelowna and in West Kelowna that allow for them. Buildings such as Brooklyn, such as Verona Beach, Copper Sky, Discovery Bay, Playa del Sol, St. Paul, Seoul Downtown, Sunset Waterfront, and The Cove. Okay, if you're looking for any listings in any of these buildings, then make sure to reach out to me, send me an email, kelly@kellyscar.com, and I'll make sure to get those listings over to you right away. Okay, if you're looking at single family, make sure that it isn't in a Bearland strata. Most of these will not allow for STRs. Also, if there's a homeowners association or an HOA, make sure to check the bylaws on that as well. Some of them may not allow for the short-term rental. Okay, last point. Point number 5 is how to set up your STR for maximum positive cash flow. So let's use a property listed in Playa del Sol by Century 21. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, top floor unit that's currently asking $580,000. So let's say you put down 20%, you've paid your sunshine tax, you've paid your land transfer tax, and you've employed a property manager to help you get this investment of yours rented out. What you'll be looking to do is make this unit available between May the 1st and September 30th for nightly occupancy. These are your prime months to maximize. You could be looking at anywhere from $200 to $500 per night in this building specifically during those months. So for easy math's sake, let's just take the median at $350 a night. What we know about most Airbnb property managers is that they'll be able to get your property rented out for around 21 days out of the month. So let's base everything off of that. Now, you may very well be full up for those months, but again, let's err on the side of caution here and make sure that we're being relatively conservative. Now, your gross monthly revenue off of this property would be $7,350. Now, if you take off the property management fee of 20%, you're left with $5,880. Condo fees on this property are $730, so now you're down to $5,150. Now, your mortgage payment based on a 5-year fixed rate of 5.7% will be around $2,600 a month. So that will leave you with about $2,550. And then you've got to take your property taxes off at $180, which will leave you with a grand net total of $2,370. Now look, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, we're trying to be conservative on the occupancy. So if you were to add on another 9 days to that number, that could boost you up very well to around that $5,000 per month. Okay, once October 1st rolls around, you're going to want to find a short-term tenant to put into the property. So from October 1st to April the 30th. Now on a property similar to that, you'd be looking at a monthly revenue on that style of property somewhere between $2,400 and $3,000 a month. Now, if you want to get deeper with how the STR works with the traditional style rental, then let's schedule a call and let's have a chat about that. All right, well, that's all I got for you. When you're looking at investing in the Kelowna real estate market, it's important to have a full-time guide with multiple years of experience to help you along the way. If you're interested in booking a call with me, you can always shoot me a text at 403-827-7527. You can send me an email to kelly@kellyscar.com. And if you want more information on investing in the Kelowna real estate market and anything to do really with Kelowna, go and check out our blog at livelovekelowna.ca/blog.html.